Yo, you guys, it's the Psychopoweranger once again, and there's been some questions about what's probably the best way to build a monk at this point in the stage. Now, I am in Inferno right now. This build right here will work completely for hell. As for Inferno, I am not very well geared yet. I am doing skeleton runs, and by skeleton runs I mean the Mad Skeleton King. And this is probably the best way to build a monk at the moment, and that is resistances and armor. Keep in mind that you might as well just use a shield. When you have two weapons, you don't really get much more bonus. So just keep that in mind. Now, at the moment, I do have 446. Let me make that better. I have 534 resistances. This brings me up to 64.05% resistance to level 60 enemies. That means that you actually aren't getting that much from these guys because of how much higher of a level they are than you. So what do? Well, you choose one element. I just chose fire resistance, but you probably don't want to go fire resistance. The reason being is because fire resistance seems to be one of the more popular ones. They seem to sell for a little bit more than all the other resistances. I just wasn't thinking at the time when I chose that. Then you'll want to get all resistance because that will add on to your fire resistance. The reason being is because one without everything will make all your stuff all resistance. So instead of these gloves, for instance, being 41 fire resistance, it is actually 59 resistance because of that. Now what you want to basically be doing is building dexterity, vitality, and resistances on your character with the added attack speed to make your damage look nice. Now I only have 7,199 at the moment. That's really not that good, but it definitely helps for doing skeleton runs. After that, you want to start doing butcher runs, and then really I don't know much after that. Now that we got that all done, let's go over the skills a little bit. So we go with Deadly Reach just to keep you away from your enemies a little bit more. It's just how it needs to be. I mean, Crippling Wave is pretty nice if you go with Crippling Wave, and I do believe Concussion? Concussion. You go Crippling Wave and Concussion. But for the most part, you just want to use Deadly Reach. You go Blinding Flash because it blinds them, making them not attack you, which gives you a lot of time to relieve yourself of damage. Mantra of Healing with Time of Need to give you that extra resistance bonus, which is extremely helpful, let me tell you. We do have Mystic Ally, which gives you a 10% health bonus, but you can do something like Seven-Sided Strike, and then probably several Sudden Assault to increase that damage. If you are with a team, you kind of can also go Mantra of Conviction as long as you have a team that is using a lot of damage. Another good one to do if you're playing with, say, a Witch Doctor or somebody who is running Archon, a really good build skill would be Cyclone with Implosion to pull all enemies in and then let the zombie bears or the Archon beam destroy your enemies. Finally, we do go Breath of Heaven with Fear, same reason that you go with Blind and Serenity for that oh darn it moment. And I do run Ascension, but you can also run Tranquility if you're trying to help out your allies a little bit more. Anyways, let's do a little bit of gameplay here, fight some enemies, and show you how exactly this works. Now keep in mind my damage and also how much damage the enemy does to me. So these skeletons really don't do too much. Most basic mobs aren't even going to be a problem for this build at all. But like Inferno is, it's all about facing those boss monsters, and those boss monsters are really difficult. They are. It's just a fact of the matter. But with enough CC, and if you have a team who actually does damage, that's really helpful as well. I don't know why I'm attacking the skeletons. These guys need to die first. But as you can see, this build can tank quite a bit of damage. Obviously, I'm not taking as much damage, or like a large amount of damage, but even when I'm getting hit by all these guys, really what's really happening here? Nothing much. So this build works pretty well, and even with the slow amount of damage, it isn't pretty bad. Something to keep in mind is, I forgot to mention this in the last video, is that if you go over to gameplay, you can select elective mode and advanced tooltips, which will allow you to see the specific stuff, but the tooltips still pretty much stink and they aren't very specific on some stuff. But what are you going to do about it? Anyway, so you continue to keep doing this. You always want to cycle out and push out guys like this in Inferno because they'll just keep spawning guys with a ton of health. Oh, forgot to summon my ally. Got him now though, which will boost my health up a little bit more. Because, let's be honest, finding something that has both vitality, resistance, and dexterity in it is an extremely expensive piece of gear. So, the best way to... Oh, great. My spirit decided to pull some more guys. So the best way to counteract that is provide yourself with your own vitality bonuses via a helmet with a socket, 12% life. and anything else with sockets, put vitality in them instead, and then just focus on dexterity early. Then you can start focusing on your vitality gear a little bit later in the game, because you don't need too much vitality to deal with the early parts of Inferno.
Let us fight together.
Now I'm going to just turn off all of my game volume because I can't even concentrate with all the talking and fighting and stuff. So we haven't gotten into any boss mobs yet, and I'll probably skip through some of this after this point. So I'm just going to quiet my mouth and just play the game until I hit some boss monsters. Alright, we got some boss monsters. Now, for the most part, this is actually not even that hard of a boss, because Mortar is more for a ranged enemy, and you guys essentially can just do this, and these guys honestly won't be too difficult. With this build, you can turn on your absorption and just resist all sorts of all that damage from the frost. It'll allow you to pump out some extra damage while you're waiting. Now, essentially this build works pretty well, except for something like Desecration, Arcane Enchanted, Vortex, but to be completely honest, when you're facing something like that, you're going to lose anyways until you have really, really good gear. And I decided that I'd make this video more so because I know that there's a lot of build videos out here already, but they're already people who have really nice gear. My gear's pretty average for Inferno, and it probably cost me a total of 500,000 to put together. So it's really not that hard to fix the problem. And as you can see, something else that you want to keep in mind is that this Spirit Ally, now I know some people are like, oh, I hate the Spirit Ally, he also taunts a character for I believe 3 seconds. So that comes in big handy when you're going up against one person. You can resummon him, and he will absorb aggro, and it's really nice. Now against Vortex, something also to think about is when you have to be sure you go up against them with this attack, because you will be in Vortex range if you don't move close to them because of the extra bonus range from the attacks. Besides that, that's really how you do this, and just dodge all the frost, because frost can really ruin your day like that. If you're with a group and you get frost like that, you're essentially dead, dude. These things own you. Nice, and I got a Baylor Fist. Hopefully it's good and I can sell it for a little bit, because I am running low on gear. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy that. I hope that this build does work for you guys. It's really helping out for me, and definitely think about investing in changing your second weapon to a shield or getting a one-hand in a shield, because it really does help. As you can see, I do have 5,000 armor. This is a really nice armored shield, and it gave me a ton of fire resist. I'm like, I can't pass this up, and I only lost 300 damage because of it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace out.